Hi everyone, my name is Sandra. I'm the colleague for Firebase Kenya, and today we have a session with Eric Muli. Eric is a technical support engineer at Flutterflow, and today he's gonna show us how to integrate Firebase in our Flutterflow project and many other things. But he's gonna introduce himself. So, Eric, the stage is now yours.
Thank you, Sandra. So, hi everyone. My name is Muli Eric. I'm a Flutter engineer, uh, also a mobile engineer under iOS. And I do just a little bit of backend with Go, making some nice scripts. But generally, thank you guys for having me here today. So today I want to take you through how to use Firebase with Flutterflow. So Flutterflow it's a virtual app deployment development platform rather. So with Flutterflow, you can build your apps while you see them. You don't have to keep on compiling them to see the designs that you're building. So you see what you're building. So that is generally what Flutterflow is. So today I'm going to take you how you're going to uh, integrate Firebase with Flutterflow and build a very simple application. So there are usually first prerequisites that you need to check when you're integrating the application with Firebase. So first thing first, I'm going to create a Flutterflow application that will integrate with Firebase later. So this is my Flutterflow dashboard. There's a number of projects here. So we're going to create just a simple project. We're going to use this template. It's a Meals app. So call it Flutterflow with Firebase. Just a simple name, Flutterflow with Firebase, and then we're going to use this template. There are a number of templates that you can use in Flutterflows, which are actually free, and you own rights to them. Flutterflow to come and tell you, hey, you have rights to this. So these are free templates that you can use, fully customize, full edit, and make any changes that you want. So you're going to use just this simple template. It's loading. So you're going to strip down some of the features that are here so that you can just go direct to the main point of the day. So I'm going to skip this section. So Flutterflow provides you an easier way to set up your application with Firebase. So if you have already created you can create it manually or let Flutterflow create it for you. So you have create project or manually add the Firebase project ID. So if I want to create it directly, automatically Flutterflow will do it for me. I'll click create project, and then it will go to Firebase, create project, and set up pretty much everything that is required. But I want to take you on each and every step because sometimes you might get some problems that you might need to make changes to. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to skip, just click next step, and just start building. So our project is not set up with Firebase yet. So I'm just going to take you through just a brief overview of what we do have here. So this is a Mill app. Let me zoom it in a little bit. So this it's a Mill application. It has a splash screen, a login, sign up, create page, forgot account, and password, edit profile, and listing. So I'm going to strip down some of the functionalities that are here so that you can just be direct to the point. So first thing first, this is a storyboard. So what does storyboard does? It shows you all the screens in your project, how they are connected, how the flow is. So you can actually have a full overview of what you have and what your application looks like. So you can switch between mobile view, tablet view, a bit zoom out, the desktop view. So this comes in if you have optimized the application to run in the different screen sizes. So that will be a topic for another day, but today we're focusing on Firebase. So we have an error here, so you just need to compile this. So Flutterflow allows you to build your application by dragging and dropping widgets around the canvas and also writing your own custom code. So in some cases, you might want a very customized widget, a very customized action. Action is a block of function which is async, and you can also create a custom function, which is a normal function that return any primitive return types. So here you have a custom action that just returns uh, greetings if it's afternoon, morning, or night. So you need to just compile that so that application can be set. So over to Firebase settings. So when you're creating your application, you want to connect it to Firebase. So there is the Firebase settings page. So in the Firebase settings page, you have the option to let Flutterflow create it for you or do it manually for yourself. So I'm going to do it manual, prefer doing it manual. So come here, Flutterflow, Flutterflow with Firebase. So with Firebase, then continue, select default account. So give it a few minutes as it's building. So in the meantime, I'm going to explain some of the few things that you have here in this page. So you have create configuration files. So once you have connected your Flutter Firebase project, your Flutterflow project, you need to connect it and then create configuration files. What this does, it generates a JSON service file for both iOS, Android, and also it connects your Flutterflow project to Firebase hosting. So when you've already created your project, you'll see all the three applications added at once. Then they'll be listed there. So remote configurations is for enabling remote configurations for your application in case you want to do any remote changes, changing a specific variable to show a specific message or a specific feature. Then you have analytics, you can enable analytics, you can also enable app check and performance monitoring. So these are some of the options that you get in the Firebase settings page. So back here, we are done. So we have our project set. We zoom in a little bit. So we have our project and here it is. So first thing first, once you create your project, your Firebase project, you need to add Firebase at flutterflow.io. So what this does, this is a user. This user handles a cloud function, invoking cloud functions, making some edits to your Firebase rules, Firebase storage rules, because when you click deploy Firestore rules or Firebase storage rules, this is the user that does that. So we need to create that user. We add the member Firebase at flutterflow.io, then give the user edit access. So these are edit access. So you need to add two more actions, two more roles rather, which is cloud function invoker and service account user. So the cloud function invoker enables this user to trigger some of the actions that you're going to deploy to Firebase. So to do that in Firebase, you just click advanced permission settings. So once you click this will take you to GCP where you can add permission for this user. So you locate the user, it's Firebase at flutterflow.io, then click the edit principal. Then you're going to add cloud function invoker, cloud function admin, and service account user. Service account user. Sorry, did not come. Service account user. Select that, then save. So once you update the policy, you can come here and reload Firebase. Okay, cool. So this should be the first initial setup. So you see, we have Firebase at Flutterflow with three roles rather. Then I'm the owner. So the next step is to enable Firebase authentication and add email and password sign-in. So I'm going to explain this in context why I should do this. So come here, the build section, authentication. So need to get started and enable this. That should be enabled. So when you do this automatically, when you let Flutterflow do this for you, it does this in the background for you. So it will create all the service account users, the it will create the user and add all the permission and enable authentication. All this done automated for you. But I usually believe it's always good to know what happens under the hood, just in case you need to make modifications or when you encounter any issues that you need to make changes to. So once we enable that, the next thing we need to do, can come and enable Firebase storage. Sorry, storage. Just creating it. So let's start in test mode. Next, I'm going to use US Central. Done. So the reason for this, for enabling Firebase storage bucket, is when we deploy the Firebase storage rules, we need to have an already existing bucket. So Flutterflow won't allow you to deploy the rules if the bucket is not created. So we have to create the bucket first. So when we are doing the configuration for Firebase in Flutterflow, all the rules will be deployed directly. So once that's done, you're good to go. So the reason for enabling, for adding the authentication with signing method, email, and password is, so Flutterflow has a content management system where if you have a number of collections, the number of items data, instead of coming to Firebase to view them, you can view them internally in Flutterflow. So Flutterflow need to be authenticated to access that data. So that's why you need to enable email and password. And the user that is always authenticated for that is the user that we did set here. And the user and permission, Firebase and Flutterflow. So he will be able to read, like the user, I'm using that person. So the user will be able to read the data, show you, make changes. You can make changes from Flutterflow directly, and they reflect in Firestore. So once you're done with that, you need to copy the project ID. So this is the project ID. Copy, and then go back to Flutterflow, and then paste the ID. Then should be an F. No. Yeah, missed that. Back here, paste it. So confirm you don't have trailing or spaces at the front or at the end. So then you click connect. So success. So in normal cases, you'll get a success message unless you have other errors that are involved with Firebase configurations in your project. Sometimes you might have multiple Firebase projects, sorry, Flutterflow projects connected to Firebase. So in some cases, you'll get to tell you, hey, please contact the owner of the Firebase project so that you can be able to add this Flutterflow project to Firebase. So in most cases, you just need to go clear all the projects and re-add them again. So Flutterflow will be able to connect your Flutterflow project with Firebase and deploy the rules. So the next step is to deploy the Firebase storage rules. So deploy the rules. Just a second, should be deploying. Actually, I want to deploy this Firebase rule. Yes. So what is it saying? So just saying Firebase storage is currently not enabled. In order to enable, please ensure. So we've already done this. So I think it's not synced. So just refresh it. Okay, almost there. Okay, so go to Firebase settings. So okay, this got disconnected. Connect again. Okay. Connect, regenerate configuration files. So this will create this specific project. It will be added to Firebase. So once this is done, these are the same files that you get once you add your project to Firebase. You have the Google Service JSON file that you download. So these are the files that are being, the applications being added to Firebase, and the files are being downloaded. So if you come here, and then general, and then refresh the project, you're going to see that we have our applications added. So this is the iOS version, this is the Android version, this is the web version. So go back to Firebase, sorry, Flutterflow. and then click deploy. So let's give you okay, we have an error saying, what does it say? Firebase storage is currently not enabled. So let's try to add something to the storage. Just a second. Let's upload the file. So, what should I upload? Give me a second. Pick a file. Just a second. I'm looking for a file that we can upload. Okay. Desktop. Go to desktop. Okay, found a blank file. Found it. Cool. So come back here, select this, and scroll. Upload that. So we have a file already uploading. Okay, so we have a blank file. Come here, try deploy again. Okay, still getting a similar case. Just try to reload it. So in the meantime, you can be creating a Firestore database. Come here to Firestore database. Apologies, my network's a bit slow, so it's taking some time to load the dashboard. Okay, here we go. Cool. So we are in data store mode. So my Firestore actually is in data store mode. So we need to convert it to native store. So to do this, we need to go to Google Cloud GCP. So this happens for some Firebase projects, some don't. So you need to go to this to GCP and convert your Firestore storage from data store to native store mode. So just a second. Convert data store to native Firebase. So you can there's a migration command that you can run on the GCP Cloud Shell. So I'm just looking for it. Just a second. Change Firestore from data store to native store. Pen. Okay. Okay, found it. So you can actually Google for this command. I've just Googled it and found it in Stack Overflow. There's usually some steps in GCP that you can convert this. Not quite sure where it is, but I found it easy using the terminal to do some of these changes. So just zoom in a little bit. So this is the command that we are going to run: gcloud alpha firestore database update type Firestore native. So I'm going to click enter and authorize that. Should be authorized. A few. Cool, you're good. So go back to Firebase and reload again. Cool. So we have our Firestore created region in US Central. So go back to Flutterflow. Cool. Firebase connected. Try to deploy this again. In progress. Deployed. So storage rules are deployed. So you need to ensure first is enabled. If it's in data store, show it's native store. Then the storage are also enabled. And then authentication to email and password. And then you have user and permission, Firebase at flutterflow.io, given editor, service account user, and cloud function admin. So those are pretty much the basics of setting up Firebase to run with Flutterflow. So once you have this set, you can come here. So we have Firestore section. So here's where you can create your collections, modify them, delete them, change the types that you want to have in your collection. So when using a template, some of the collection will come created for you. So this is because a template is pretty much like an application that has already been pre-built with actions, with functions, with backend calls that are already set. So what you need to do is modify, connect it to your data store, and then to work. So in this case, we have our uh, users collection set. So also a meal. So these are representation of how a document will look like in Firebase. So if we have a collection user, it'll have a document, email, display name, photo URL, and all this data. So this is pretty much a schema. You can also add collections, uh, directly type them. Let's say, should we call this test? So is it a sub collection or a major collection? It's a collection. You can use generate AI to generate schema data by prompting it, hey, I want you to generate a schema data for X, Y, and Z, or for a specific use case that you want. So, or you can create it from scratch and all do that. Additionally, you can also use a CSV to upload data directly to Firebase. So once you have all the collection set, schema set as expected, you can do that. So once you do have everything set, you are satisfied with your collections, satisfied with the documents, and the values that you have for the documents, you can come here to the settings section. So with this, in the settings sections where you set your rules. So these are Firestore rules. Who do you want to access the rules? Who can delete, who can write, who can create, and all that stuff. So user collection, what this basically means is the owner. When you create a user collection, most cases developers would love to have the document ID to be the user ID. So what user collection means is the owner of this document with a reference to this document ID, which should match the user's ID that is saved in this document, is the one that can make changes to this file, can write, can delete, or can do whatever they want to do. So that's what is a collection mean. None pretty much means no one can do this. So a tagged user is, for instance, if you have a post has a comment, the only person who can delete that comment is a user that is tagged in this comment or in this post. So by tagging, you can tag a user by a specific variable, is that user ID, the display name, or whichever variable that you want. So in most cases, I'm going to leave it at authenticated users, and then here user collection all through. No one can delete. Onboarding, just authenticated. Onboarding options. Let's say everyone can just read this stuff. So no one can write. So these rules pretty much depend on your company standards or your development standards that you're building, because people have major security concerns that they want to have specifics into who can access a specific document or a specific collection. So once you're satisfied with what the rules that I've set, Flutterflow will generate sample rules that's going to be deployed. So here you have a sample, and then you can click deploy. So just a second. Let me check my network. Okay, be back. Flash a little bit. My network is a little bit shaky, so apologies for that. So going back here. So we did make some settings changes to our collection. So something that I would love to show is the errors that are shown. Flutterflow is already telling us, hey, you have a collection test that currently has no fields because it did not create fields for that collection. It also tell you, hey, we need to cross-check your function so that can be sure it's okay, it has no errors. So just go back here because I don't need this collection. You can just delete the collection. Hey, go away. Then come back here. I want to deploy the Firestore rules. So deploy the rules. It will show you diff, what was there before, what's there after. But because this is a new project, so you don't have a diff. Okay, they are there actually. So before and after, this is what we had. Or we did make some changes to the rules that we have both. So deploy now. Okay, deployed. So in cases that you want to trigger a collection delete or a document delete when a specific user is deleted, you can come here and deploy delete user references. However, this requires your project to be in Blaze plan. So because for this to work, we need cloud functions, and Firebase requires anyone deploying cloud functions to have their Firebase project in Blaze. So you can also validate the schema, validating. So this just check your Firebase rules, your schema, if they're okay, and all that. So basically, it will usually redeploy or render this as old, and you'll need to deploy it later. So, but in general case, you can run the application if this is validated or not. But it's usually great practice to validate your schemas. Okay, so that is pretty much all the basics that you need to have when setting up Firebase in Flutterflow. So I've been quite slow so that you can understand each and every step and why the step is required. So, just a little bit. I think it will load this again. Come here, redeploy this because they were rendered old when we did check to validate the first schemas. So I think we are good to go. So we have Firebase enabled. Check everything is working. Everything is good. Now back here. So I'm going to run this project in test run. So test run is like you're running your project on web, but in debug mode. So this will you'll be able to capture bugs, be able to capture, like you'll have all the debugging options that you have in VS Code on web. So as this is running, like to take you do some of the some few options that you can do with Firebase. So in Flutterflow, you can actually create documents with actions, delete document with actions, update document with actions, and make queries, load the data that you have in Firebase. So before that, I love to load some data here. Just a second, it's loading. I want to create an account. So here, come here to Firebase. Sorry, should be here first too. Then manage content. So manage content, open the CMS section of Flutterflow where you can manually type in data and modify the data that you have. So you see, I don't have any data. So I'd love to add data to the meals collection because I'll be loading data from there to showcase how we load data from Firebase. So you can upload data from a CSV or add it manually. So I'll love to add it manually. So what do you call this? Oh, I just use rice. Upload an image. Let me use custom image from here, just a blank image. So I have a blank image, so to upload the image. Meal ingredients. I'll just say water. I think we use water to make rice. I don't know what that is. So meal favorites. So these are document references for users who have marked this specific meal as their favorite. So I'm going to skip that. Calories. It's rice, cup of rice. I'm not sure, but let me just guess 120 calories. Meal diet, none at the moment. So I'm going to add that document. So should be added. Let me check. Come here. First stop. Loading. Okay, so it did not come through. Just a second. Oh, sorry. I'm always used to have the console logs open when I'm building. So it's part of how I do like stuff. So I'm going to first get started. We have this onboarding session. Skip it. Action button, this and that. So this is a debug panel. It shows you what actually is going on in the project. All the states are shown here. Any values that are not can be shown here, and pretty much everything. You can have all the states shown here. So checking what we have, index type null. So come here. So let's know what's happening. So come here from onboarding. You're supposed to go here. Check the actions. Okay, so we have 4 actions. So index hypnotic feedback, navigate to onboarding. We did navigate to that just for onboarding. So here's here what we have for onboarding. So here we are making a call to get onboarding options. So why did we not get that? So first culprit is usually checking the rules if you have the rules set right. So onboarding options, what rules do we have here? So anyone can read. Do you have any value in, but no, we don't. So come back to Flutterflow. I'm going to create some. Honestly, I don't know what to add here, but I'll just use hello world 2, that. Oh, okay, hello world. The same case here, the string hello world. So this is just for demo purposes. So document. So we have the document added. So you have 2 options: either adding it directly from the app, like when you're typing data entry, or you can add it from the CMS. So if you come to Firestore, we should have that created. Okay, cool. We had onboarding options. We have everything set. Back here back to the project. So it's already loaded data that we added. So we can add some more. Okay. Let me duplicate this, where I can open the CMS in one section. Firebase, content manager. So I have the project running here. I have test mode running here with my debug option set. I also have the project and the CMS. So let's go to onboarding just for a second. So in onboarding, this is the onboarding page that we have here. So what happens is, in this page, we have two options actually set. We have an action that is being called when this page loads. So you can see it's an on-page load action. So in Flutter, this will be called on init state. So once that page is initialized, that being written on the screen, that action will be called. And also we have a backend call here that is communicating to Firebase. So this call is going to onboarding options, getting just a single document, and then returning it on screen. So if you want to get multiple data, you can change it to list of documents. And then you have the option to add filters and ordering. You can order by a specific field, and are you increasing or decreasing? So like that. So oops, I think I moved the backend call. I'm going just to add it, list of documents, and confirm that. So we have that saved. So how do you add backend calls to a widget? So this backend call is on the top, the top parent widget. So if you check the code, okay, I'm going to read the code. I'm not sure if it will be shown here. Just a second. So if you are onboarding, could not generate, did I not save? Come back. Save. We have some 3 errors. Dynamic variable not properly set. Okay. So what this means is we have a column. Let me go to the top. We are calling this data from Firebase, and we are calling it as a query collection. So A query collection returns a list of documents which you need to map them and generate items, generate components from that. So in that case, where we were using that data, here we have this column. So this column needs to generate the data from that correction, sorry, collection query. So you need to come and set the variable name. You don't need to set max item, depends. Then you can set the value. The value you're going to set it from the onboarding option documents. Then set it that. Then save. So once you save, they'll be generated from here. The next step is to load these specific components from a specific document. You want to show the data. Is it the name? Is it the type, or whichever? So you need to come here. Flutterflow is guiding us, telling, hey, you have an issue here. So you need to come here. Date select. I don't think we need this at the moment. Just remove that. Dynamic not properly set. Yeah. Set this. I'm going to set it to onboarding options. Just confirm that and save. I think I'm generating quite a lot of errors, but I think I can just fix this together quick fast. Save 7 errors. So what do you need? What you don't need? Remember, I'm just editing the templates on the fly. So some things will need them, some things don't need them, just for showcasing. Just leave this action for now, because we don't want to waste a lot of time making changes to this. So go back, need for errors component. Where it is coming from this component. Yeah. Do I really need this? Nope. Remove that. It is coming from here. So remove that. Cool. So one more error. So note these errors are showing up because I edited pretty much how the project should look like. So this definitely expected if you make changes to your project, unprecedented changes, and you don't keep in mind where this data is being used at a specific level in the widget tree. So I made this project to load data from a list of from a collection, loading it into a column. So since we have here a column is missing, so I'm going to come here, just drag, let's say, a container. Then this container are going to have a text. Then we're going to show data from our diet. So list of strings, meal options. So I'm just going to show the first option, item and index, just first option from that list. So I'm going to instantly reload this. So this is going to instantly update our test mode screen, and then to load all the changes. So I've made changes to the design, also made changes to how you're making the call from the backend. So that's how you literally make a call from Firebase in Flutterflow and show it to the widget. So just saw how quickly I just drop a container, added a text, and just loaded the first option of the meal options in the container. So loading, give it a sec. I always love to have this here just to see if there's any errors in the project. So I can just confirm that. So meal plan, oops, get started, continue, boom. So loading an option. Then we have, oh, hello world. Hello world, remember, is the data that we do have here. So I'm going to try and change this to nice food. Nice food, update. To come here, we have it updated as nice food. So it's just streaming in the data from Firebase to Flutterflow. So that's how you load data to the project in Flutterflow. So how do you create a document? So I think we should be having an option to log in. Let me check first. Where does this take us? Any allergies? Nope. So we have a create account action. So I'm going to take you to a create account. Okay, what's the name? Should be authentication. Sign in. Let's show create account. So here you have three text fields. You have full name, email, and password. So and then you have an action that creates create that specific user to database. So in our case, you just come here, search the text field, and then drag and drop it to the view, and then you can give it an identifier of a choice, email an identifier of a choice, and pass identifier of a choice. Then you have all the options to that you will have in a Flutter app that you will have to set in the decorations and all the options that you have to set for input decoration. So keyboard type, masks, filters, capitalization, subtypes, and all that stuff. Submit rather, and max length as well. So I'm not going to delve into that because I want to show you how to create a document in Flutterflow. So once you have these options here, you can go to create account. So in normal Flutter case, you'll have an on press, an on click, in and a gesture detector, or an equal. So in Flutterflow, you have actions. You just need to select the widget itself, and in the property section, you'll see this arrow with this some line on it. Click on it, and then you can add. As I'm going to cut this so that I can show you how to add some. Cut everything. So for you to add an action, just click add action. If it's a conditional action, an if else statement, or a multiple condition, click add action, add condition action. If it's a loop, you add a loop, or if it's a parallel action, there's a parallel action. So by parallel action, there are two actions running concurrently. So remove this, then I'm going to paste what we did have there. So this action validate forms. So I'm going to show you some of the actions that are there. So you have a number of actions. You have navigate to a specific widget, navigate back from a widget, close, pop, a dialog, make a backend call. So you can make a backend call to an API, and make a backend call to Firestore, which you're going to do. Then you're going to create a document. So this validates these specific actions, validates our form. So back here we have a form that is wrapping this text field. So I have a form, column, the number of text fields. So this is the form, and that validates and create action cross checks if we have valid email, if you have actually text here there. So where can you make these changes for validation? So in the form, sign-in form, we have validation, automatic validators here. You can set how do you want to validate this specific field. Is it by maximum allowed characters? Which validator do you want to use? Is it an email, username, a website, or a custom regex that you want to use for that? So minimum required characters, minimum allowed characters. And this applies pretty much for every text field that you do have there. So back to the action. So you have that, and then you have a hypnotic feedback, then a create account action. So when you want to create an account, when you click create account, the action flow will start from validate, hypnotic feedback, and then create account. So in Flutterflow, when you are looking for an action, once you, let's say we're here, add an action here, add action, you get this dialog where you can search for any action. So you're going to search for create account. So you get this create account action, but it's the same one that you have here on top. So in this create action, you're going to select on which provider you're going to use. You're going to use email and password. So it will prompt you to set the email fields, password, and confirm password field. So you're going to have an email field, a password field, and then you don't have this one. So you can just select the same one. And then to which collection do you want to create this specific document to? So because this is a user, you're going to select user, and then are there fields that you want to pass to this collection that you're creating? So you have these fields here. You have an option to add more fields and remove fields as you wish. So we don't have a display name in our form, so I'm going to remove display name, but actually I can add it from a specific variable. I can say, hey, this is Muli, or else you can get it from a variable. So from a variable, if you have something saved in state, you can come set from variable. this email, we can pick it from widget state and set that's an email. And then you don't need to send this, you don't need to send this and this. So that's pretty much what we need to do. So I have email, display name. Maybe I can add something else here. Nothing. Don't think there's anything I need to add. So that's how you create a document. So how about how do you update it? So I'm going to show you after you do this. So we have some 3 errors here. Let's check. I cannot have multiple actions in one flow. So you see we have multiple authentication actions. We have create action, create action. So we can't have to create actions in the same action flow. So we're going to delete the one that we created for demo. Then come back here. What are we having? We just had email and display name. Oops. Oh, yes, I did that. So yeah, so that's how you create a document. So we're done. Then so we are back here. So I'm going to sync those changes just in case I made some minor changes. So that is being synced. So I'm going to show you how do you modify, how do you update, how do you update a document in Firebase. So loading. So other features that you have that are enabled for Firebase, someone might want to have push notifications in their project. They might want to have analytics. They might want to have performance checks. So in the settings page, we have the integration section. So here we have all the options that you might want to have. But if you scroll a little bit up, you have push notifications. So once you enable push notifications, you have to ensure that you are on Blaze plan, and then have to click deploy, and then push notification will be enabled in your project. So it's just as seamless as that, unless you encounter some errors in case your billing in GCP is not well set, you have issues with billing, or maybe a billing expired, or let's say in cases that you don't have all the permissions that we did set earlier than not set. So once you enable push notification, that's it. Push notification is enabled. However, you'll have for iOS, you'll need to set the APNs, connect Firebase console, all the keys that are required to push notification for iOS devices. So cool. Something else that I did show earlier, you can set remote configuration files. If you want to make changes to a specific design, maybe you don't want to show your users this button when you're in development or when a specific feature is out, you can set it to true or false. Just need to create a parameter, let's say show. Then the type, I want it to be Boolean default to this. So once I change this value in Firebase, remote configuration, Flutterflow will pick this, and maybe depending on the conditions that you set for a specific visibility of a widget, it will show it or not show it. So pretty much that. Setting authentication in Firebase, I think I had skipped this because it was already set. So for you to set authentication for your application, you need to come to the settings page, authentications, and then set the authentication that you want to use. In our case, we are using Firebase authentication. That's why when we went to set the provider, it had the email, Apple, Google sign in, and the rest. So for you to completely set to enable authentication, you need to set an entry page and a logged in page. The entry page is the first page that is loaded when your app loads, when your app boots, when your app comes in memory. That's the page that will be loaded. The logged in page is the page that will show when we have a current user that is signed in. So Flutterflow automatically navigate the user for you. So if you're done creating an account, you're done login, it will automatically navigate the user from that page to the logged in page. So that's enabling authentication. So yeah, anything else about Firebase? Pretty much that. Let's go back here. Then that. So as you can see, every time we reload, we are going back to onboarding. So you can have an app state. An app state will hold the data for you. It's like shared prefs. I will hold the data for you and check, hey, has this user already loaded this up before? If they have already done this, please take them to this page. You don't have that set yet. So continue. Okay, I did make quite a lot of changes here. what did I do? So I think I edited something here. Sorry. What does the error say? Page values only. As pixel has content, page values only available after content. Okay, let's just go to what we wanted to showcase. Just fix that later. So full name, I'm going to say, sorry, test.com, password 123456. Show it 78. So it's not recommended to use such kind, but this for data, sorry, for demo, create account. So cool. As you can see in our action flow back here, we don't have okay, we have a navigate to option, but you can remove this automatically, like have this completely disabled, and ensure that you have automatically navigate automatically. So once you have already created the account, Flutterflow will navigate this for you. So that's how you create a document to Firebase. So if you come to Firebase, just loading. So apologies, you are out of time. It's like 10 minutes. I'm clearing in a few seconds. So we have users. So we have the user created. So see, pretty much everything is done by clicking and adding a few options that will enable specific function to occur. In normal cases, if I was writing this code manually, I would have to go through a number of steps. But that is not the point. The point is, uh, what are the tools that are available that we can, instead of just keep on typing, is there a way that we can build this in a different way? So we have the action set there. So in case that you did want to maybe update a user's profile. So let's check this and edit profile page. So we are editing the display name here. So what do we need to do? In normal cases, you need that specific user reference or the user ID. So assume this page, cool, here we come. So we are updating the username. So we want to update that, we need a update action. So let's say I'm going to just make some modifications here. I'm going to remove this, delete completely, and add update. So we have update email, authentication, update email. So I can, okay, should let me come here. Not an authentication one, should be update document. So what do you want to update? Which document do you want to update? From which collection? So set reference to the update document. So in some cases, you might not be updating the current user details. You might be updating someone else's details. For that case, you might need to pass a user reference to the page that you are updating. So let's say you come here, create, let's say user ref. They'll be hold the user reference for this specific user that you want to update details from. I'm assuming that if it's not the current logged in user, because if the current logged in user, you're going to use global variables where we can set, hey, from the current authenticated user, kindly update this specific user's data. So I'm going to come here, open to this. So I'm going to use the user reference path. You said user reference, and then what file are we going to update? So I want us to update email to, no, okay, that will be bad. Can't update the user email. Let's say just display name to Eric. So then we're done. So once the user clicks reset, so change this to update name. So once the user click, hey, I want to update my name. So once they click this, the action will run the background and the spinner will be showing, and then the name will be updated. So any other action that we can show as the time is coming to an end. So delete all actions. So Firestore. So we have create document, you have read document, you have update document, delete document, and you can also make a query. You can hey, I want documents from the onboarding options. Then are there any filters? Are there any orders that the data that should be ordered in a specific format? You can add that there. And then once you add like a specific filters, you need to send those indexes to Firebase for indexing. So let's say we want to order, hey, I want to order the middle options. If an array contains what, can just say if it contains a specific value. Let's say if what do we have here? Let me use uh, a different collection, list of collections. I want you to give me all the guys or the people in this space that their name is equals to Eric. So this collection will go Firebase, do its stuff, and load all users that have the name Eric. But before that, you need to sync, come here and uh, be showing the indexes. You need to validate schema. So I need to validate the schema so that I can show the indexes. So once you have set the filter options, you need to redeploy the Firebase index rules. So that's pretty much the basics of Firebase with Flutterflow. So you can create, delete options, update options, load options, filter options, order options, send push notifications, set configuration, sorry, not configuration files, but what do you call remote configurations. So this quite can take some time to explain every topic and every going in depth how to manipulate data, how to set up push notification, how to trigger them, how to send push notification to a lot of people, to a single person, and targeted notifications. So that is just a scratch on what we have on Firebase in Flutterflow. So if we get more time next time, we can go into specifics, type of push notifications to end, remote configuration to end. But that's how you basically set up Firebase in your project and get it running in a few. So I had to go slow, explain every option, every section, so that you guys can understand pretty much all the steps without skipping anything. So that's pretty much the basics of how you can add Firebase to your Flutterflow project. Thank you so much, and back to you, Sandra.
Thank you so much for that in-depth session. I know you've said a couple of times that you're running out of time, but technically you actually weren't here because we don't have like a specific time frame from the time we started to the time we stop. I understand that. So yeah, we can plan for another session where you can give an in-depth analysis of these topics on Flutterflow. But this was a very interesting session. I think most of us have heard of or worked with Flutterflow, and for those who um, had a clue or those who didn't have a clue about how to integrate them in their Flutterflow projects, I think this is one of the best walkthroughs that I've seen. And there was not a better person to give us the talk apart from you. I mean, you're very conversant with Firebase, Flutterflow, you work there still. So this was a very, very good session. I hope our audience liked it, and even yeah, feel free to share even. And yeah, so this is awesome. Thank you very much, Eric, and thank you very much to our listeners. Yeah, follow Firebase Kenya on Twitter, LinkedIn, every social media that is. I think that's the only username that we go with. And yeah, hope to see you in the next session. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for having me.